Hey friends, welcome to my home. I thought today would be a great day to do an official rig tour of my new camper because so many of you have reached out asking to see the inside and have commented on how much they love what I've done. So let's go ahead and do a rig tour today. Currently in beautiful Arizona and it is super toasty today. So I'm a little red-cheeked because it's a little warm out there, but we're staying cool inside the camper with our fans and lots of water. I'm currently surrounded by a ton of native Arizona wildlife and plant life, and the sounds of nature are just beautiful out there. And when people ask me what's one of my favorite things about this lifestyle, honestly, it's just sitting in environments like this and soaking it all in. But I'm currently celebrating 1 month in the new camper, and I thought it'd be great to share my home with you now that I've lived in it for over a month. So welcome to my 2014 Forest River Rockwood Premier A-frame style camper. This camper comes equipped with pretty much all of the basic RV items. Let's start with the front area here. I've got an electric jack, which is a huge bonus considering I am detaching and reattaching camper multiple times. This makes it so much easier and it's literally just a push of a button. I have snagged the plate at the bottom a few times, but so far nothing seems to be broken, and it's been an awesome addition to the camper. This camper comes with two 20-pound propane tanks, and I've been utilizing propane for a month now, and I still haven't even touched the second can, and I still have plenty of fuel in the first can. I suspect I could probably go about 2.5 months before having to refill, but it really just depends on my usage. Going into summer, I'm not going to be utilizing the furnace, so it'll just be my fridge and my stove, so I suspect I can conserve my propane pretty well. This camper does come with your typical battery. I did have to replace it a couple weeks ago because I wasn't able to keep a charge on some of my devices. I think that the original deep cycle had been drained too many times and it just wasn't holding a charge. But so far I haven't had any issues with that. To power my camper battery, I purchased two 100-watt Renogy solar panels. I have yet to mount them. I'm still kind of figuring out what would work best. But until then, I have an extension cable that connects to the battery, and I can move these solar panels into the sun. And as you can see right now, the sun is not quite hitting this side of the camper yet, so I'm going to go ahead and move the panels into the sun so that I can charge my camper battery. In addition, to protect my battery from overcharging, I have purchased the Renogy 30 amp charge controller, and I have the Bluetooth feature so I can access the information on my phone, and that's really nice. This side of the camper has all of my utility access. I can hook up to shore power on this side. I've got my vents and my panels to access and change from 12 volt to 120 to propane access, and I also have my outdoor shower, which I have used. Here I have my shower if I need to take a shower, and I can get hot water if I need to. Here's where I hook up my water, and this is my water output. I don't have black or gray tanks on this camper, so anything that I use in my sink comes out of this drain here. So if there's anything aside from just water that I'm using, I will hook up a hose and put it in a container that I can dump appropriately at a station. This here is one of my outside access points, and I like these little clips because I can hold it. And this is what I like to call my tool shed because it has this built-in drawer that has all of my drills and my tools and so forth. And this tool here is really helpful because it is an automatic way to release and pull back in my stabilizer jacks. And I don't like doing anything by hand anymore. I had that truck camper and that thing was all manual, baby. Not anymore. So this is a really cool feature. I'm able to use this drill to take care of my stabilizer jacks without having to manually pull them in and pull them out. In addition, I've got an extension cord in here. I've got another drill. I've got my charging devices for my drills. I've got some extra fuses in here, and I have my water purifiers and some miscellaneous items that I might need if I'm working on the camper. There's not a lot going on the back side of the camper, but I do have my spare tire mounted. And my parents gifted me this beautiful tire cover as a housewarming gift when I first got the camper, and I think it fits my personality perfectly. I absolutely love being in the mountains, I love being near water, and I like the trees. Now on this side, I do have another access point, and on this side, I usually keep my hoses, my blocks, and my leveling gear. That way it's easy access. I also have an extra heater buddy in here, just in case my furnace stops working for some reason, I like to be extra prepared. But now that it's summer, I can probably go ahead and ship that back to my storage area. So I use solar to charge my portable devices, and I have my Starlink, so I have these wires going in through this window here. That way I can access them. So it's really nice that I've got all this extra cabling. This here is quite a monstrosity. This is a kayak rack. I'm not really sure how it works, and I think there's some things missing, but it came with the camper, but that's what they told me it was. So that's what I'm saying it is. So here I have an outdoor light. I've got an antenna, a speaker, and I have a propane access point here. This camper actually came with a portable outdoor grill. I didn't bring it with me because I didn't think I'd need it, but now that I'm going into the summer months, it might be nice to have, so I might go pull that out of storage. But for now, I don't even worry about it, but it is cool to have. This here is my third access point, and this goes underneath the bench seat, so I have my toolbox and some of like my hiking shoes and things that I don't want to get the rest of my camper dirty, but that's really cool to access it right here, so I don't have to lift up the couch and mess up all of my pillows and my blanket. The camper has another outdoor light right here, and this is really nice and did come in handy when I got a little spooked the other day when I thought someone was outside of my camp. I was able to turn on all of my exterior lights. The only downside is I do have to come out here to click it, but I'm able to access different lights to get light to come here, so then this just kind of illuminates this whole front end of the camper, and that creates just a little bit of an extra sense of ease. Or if I'm working over here and I need to check something, I can turn on a light and be able to see what I'm working on. Towing my camper is my 2021 Toyota 4Runner that I purchased stock back in 21, and I built her out for full-time overlanding and off-roading. I actually lived in my 4Runner for 2.5 years, and I had my 3 dogs at the time. Unfortunately, Jethro has since passed away, but I lived in her for 2.5 years with 3 dogs, and we had a rooftop tent and a platform with a pull-out kitchen, and it was quite the setup. I do have an entire couple series on my channel if you'd like to go check those out. I have playlists linked around so you can follow along on that journey as well. So it was really important to me when I was looking for a new home that it was something that I could tow with the 4Runner. The 4Runner is not exactly designed for towing too big of items, so I was pretty limited on what I could get. And this camper here weighs 1,700 pounds dry. I actually had to have it weighed for registering it in South Dakota, so I went to a weigh station and confirmed she's 1,700 pounds dry. With all of the stuff in her, she's a little bit more heavy than that, but the 4Runner doesn't seem to have any issues towing. With her current build, she's averaging anywhere between 12 and 15 miles per gallon, and with towing this camper, she's averaging about 10 miles per gallon now. So all in all, that's actually pretty good considering I used to have a little 5x8 enclosed utility trailer that I towed with the 4Runner, and I was actually averaging about 6 to 7 miles per gallon. So I was actually really apprehensive to get a pull behind trailer when I was first looking at options, but I'm glad that I went with this one because the way that it's designed, it maximizes that airflow, so it really doesn't impact the gas mileage too much. I boondock about 98% of the time that I'm on the road, and that means I'm not connected to shore power. So that means I'm limited on what appliances I can use, and that means I can't hook up to the wall outlets to charge devices. I haven't outfitted this rig with an inverter, but I do have one. I have a 1,500 watt inverter that I could put in the camper and hook up to the battery and charge through the solar. I just don't have any good spots to put the inverter yet, so I'm still kind of navigating what would work best. But in the meantime, I do have several power banks that I use, and I charge those power banks with solar. So I currently have a 1,000 watt Jackery, a 500 watt Jackery, a 500 watt Goal Zero, and 2 small little tiny power banks from Flashfish and All Powers. And I charge those devices through an array of solar panels that I have collected over the years. I have 2 of the Goal Zero 100 watt Boulder solar panels. One I have mounted on the 4Runner, and one I'm able to place portably. And then I have a 200 watt Gracell solar panel that charges super fast. And then I have a little 60 watt All Powers solar panel that charges my smaller power banks. As you can see, my camper here has collected a little bit of dust from the road, and that's because I've taken her off the beaten path, and I have been surprised and blown away by how well this camper handles in the off-road conditions. She's gone through mud, she's gone over boulders, she's done all the things, and I'm so grateful because I was really worried that this would limit me and where I could go. Now, she can't do a whole lot of rock crawling or anything like that, but she's able to go to most of the places that I want to go. So I have my 500-watt Jackery, which is actually currently broken. It won't hold the input very easily. I had to detach the side panel to access it so that I can finagle with the input so that it will charge. And once I get it going, it will charge, but it's kind of a pain. So I do plan to replace this power bank in the future, but as you know, they're pretty expensive, so I'm not replacing it just yet. But I do have it connected to the mounted solar panel, and it's charging my portable refrigerator, which I'm actually using as a secondary freezer. This is such a cool feature because it's allowing me to have frozen vegetables and other items that are frozen that I wouldn't be able to have in just a refrigerator, and that keeps me out longer, which is the goal. I do have a mobile garden that has significantly shrunk over the last month. Unfortunately, we had an unexpected frost come through and it wiped out a good portion of my garden. I lost my tomato plants, my jalapeno plants, and a few others. So I will be resupplying when I get into another town, but until then, my bell pepper plant and my strawberry plant seems to be thriving. In fact, my strawberry plant appears to be yielding its first crop soon, and I cannot wait to taste fresh strawberries on the road. So I do have a Starlink that I will plug in situations where I don't have good cell phone service or I need to upload a video. I have Verizon, so typically I'm in good service areas, but there are the occasional times like now when I have absolutely no service, and it's nice to stay connected, be able to upload my videos, check in with my family, and watch my favorite shows. But the Starlink does draw a lot of power, so I try not to use it very often, even when I'm in good solar conditions, because I'm also powering my refrigerators and recharging my devices and using my power laptop. So it does draw tons and tons of power. But that pretty much covers the outside, so let's go on in and see what's inside. So my friend Jeremy from All Things Outdoors custom made me this bug screen, and I have yet to figure out the best way to mount it. I sent him the dimensions, and this is the first prototype that we've created. And so far, I'm absolutely enjoying this thing. It has made a huge difference in a place like this where there are a lot of flies, and I'm determined to find a way to mount this to the campers so that there's absolutely no way they can get in. But until then, it's working great. This is the living area. My living area consists of 2 bench seats, both of which have storage underneath. The one I'm sitting on currently is my mechanical station, where all of my appliances are and where I can access the different things, and I even have my solar charge controller planted inside. On the other side, I have all kinds of storage underneath the bench. I have my extra shoes, my off-season items, some electronics that I don't use every day, my toolbox, and some hiking shoes. One of the main features of this camper is the Murphy style table that my dad and I custom built to fit my needs here. I do go into detail on the Murphy style table and how I installed it to the cabinet in my Joshua Tree video. I'll go ahead and link that in the description, so if you'd like to learn more about this awesome idea, you can check out that video. I decided to go ahead and remove the original table because I felt like it was just way too bulky for the space. And I knew that I'd never really have a reason to use the guest bed, so I was okay with losing that feature. And this allows me to maximize my space because I can fold down the table when it's not in use. And what that allows me to do is when traveling, it keeps all of my pantry items, which I have inside this cabinet, nice and secure. The kitchen areas is probably one of my favorites in this camper, and it could be because I'm used to living in a 4Runner where I didn't really have a kitchen and I was limited to a 1-pot shop with a 1-burner stove. And now I have a sink with running water, I've got a 3-burner stove, and I've got tons and tons of prep space that's protected from the elements. Cooking on this 3-burner stove has definitely opened up my menu, and I am now able to cook awesome meals that don't require 1 pots. So I've gotten pretty creative with my meals, and prepping has been super fun, which is why I'm thankful to have all of the extra refrigerator and freezer space. So this camper does come with a small Nomadic refrigerator that runs off propane 12-volt and 120, and I'm able to store things inside. But because I like to stay out for longer periods of time, I do have a secondary fridge which I keep inside the camper. On this little surface area here, I do store my extra fridge, and this is awesome because, like I said, I can easily access it. I actually used to store this inside the 4Runner, but now that I've discovered that it fits perfectly on this little counter space, it's really convenient because I can keep this here, keeps the dogs off the cabinet, and I'm able to access more of my food. And this is a dual freezer and refrigerator, so I am able to keep some of my freezer items in the camper as well. This cabinet used to hold the microwave, but I took that out because I had absolutely no intentions of ever using it. When I lived in a truck camper, I didn't use the microwave there either. So I decided to make that space my easy access closet. So I have all of my clothes that I access on a daily basis right there and easy to access. The big window over the kitchen area creates a lot of natural light. The plants and I love that feature. And I use my curtain rod to hang paper towels, my hanging plant, and some vegetables. The roof vent is great for letting hot air out, steam from cooking, and creating a breeze. This area here is one of my favorites because I do spend a lot of time on my bed. I upgraded the mattress that was in the camper with a Lucid 10-inch memory foam full XL mattress, and we sleep so well. Underneath the bed has tons and tons of storage. Over here is where my 20-gallon water tank is. I've got that tool shed access point over there. And underneath this area is a huge space full of storage where I keep all of my off-season and not used regularly clothes. And then I can also access the hoses and RV supplies as well. I have a hanging rack that I use to hang my DIY IKEA light. There's not a lot of wall space, but I take advantage of the open areas and hang pictures to make it homier. So this camper actually does have a dual air conditioner and heater system. It pulls about 11,000 BTUs, which requires me to be connected to shore power or have a generator that can produce at a minimum 3,500 watts. I do plan to purchase said generator in the near future because where I'm going to be most of the time this summer is going to get into the warmer temperatures, so I will be purchasing that. And we have had some challenges in this camper, but mostly it was operator error, and I think I've overcome a lot of those obstacles, like figuring out why the fridge won't turn on or why the air vent suddenly stops working and things like that. But I've since discovered some of the root cause, which was me, and everything seems to be working now except for what needs to be connected to shore power. So this has been a really awesome upgrade from the 4Runner, and I'm absolutely loving this new little home on wheels. Well friends, that's pretty much going to cover it for this rig tour. If you have any questions or would like me to elaborate on anything further, please leave me a comment and I'll be sure to get back with you. If you'd like to support the channel, there's several different ways that you can do that are free to you. First, you can subscribe to the channel, you can like this video, you can comment on this video, and you can share this video with someone you think might benefit from the content. If you'd like to support me in other ways, consider joining my Patreon, where I share my favorite GPS locations of the places I camp, and I share descriptions on each location. Additionally, I do share some behind the scenes information when applicable. I want to say thank you to everyone who does support the channel. Your support means so much to me. I couldn't continue this lifestyle without you guys. You make a world of difference, and I'm so fortunate and blessed to have subscribers and followers like you. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Until next time, you guys, stay safe out there and have a very blessed day. See you later.